to breaking news coming in. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has now said that he has reached an agreement with the International Olympic Committee. President Thomas backed to postpone the Olympics for about 1 year. Japan, that earlier seemed very reluctant on postponing Olympics, has now taken this decision to postpone it for about a year in the wake of COVID-19 crisis across the globe. I want to cut across to Shimon Ray, our sports editor, with us on the phone line. Shimon, so they have finally changed their mind given the veracity of the crisis across the globe.
Well, absolutely, because all over the places, all the athletes from different countries, they have been constantly demanding that to give them the reality check, and this is the final logical conclusion. This had to happen. Japan as a country was in a denial mode for a very long time. The IOC was also in a denial mode. It was saying again, time and again, that we will. In fact, I talked to the IOA president, Narendra Batra, in an exclusive interview over the phone. He had said that he will only comply by what the IOC, that is the International Olympic Committee, says. Now, the point is the onus is on the organizing committee of the country, and that is Japan. If Japan is saying that they cannot hold this Olympic in time, then either it has to be shifted from Japan or else it has to be postponed for a year's time. The logical conclusion of which stands that IOC, in consultation with the organizing committee, will be left with no other choice but to postpone for a year. That is something, it's not a personal opinion of the Japanese Prime Minister, but it is as a nation, as Japan as a whole has taken probably that kind of a decision, which IOC must respect, and all the national federations and NOCs must respect, including IOA, that is Indian Olympic Association.
And Shimon, this was seeming likely given the situation and how sporting events across the globe have been cancelled owing to coronavirus and how different countries are dealing with it. Let me also bring in Shivani Gupta, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Shivani, the decision has been taken. Japan has now said that they will postpone the Olympics for a year. And this was probably bound to happen, as reluctant as they were to do it, because there wouldn't have been much cooperation from any country at this point, given how every country has been fighting coronavirus.
Yes, I think it is an important decision that has come in, and it has come in from the host country, Japan's leader Shinzo Abe, announcing this. You know, Japan obviously had to take a call on its own, as well as the host country. A lot of the responsibility was on Japan. They were very willing to kind of go ahead with it. They were wanting to postpone the decision for quite some time. Remember, even as we speak right now, the Olympics were 4 months away. So naturally, given the scale of the event and given the fact that it's a prestige to host the Olympics, the country, Japan, wanted to continue with it and see how it goes. Earlier, the IOC, in agreement with whom this decision has now been taken, Shinzo Abe coming out and saying that the IOC is in full 100% agreement. The IOC had said that they'll decide in 4 weeks' time, but perhaps their hand has been forced by participating countries. When you have countries like USA, Canada, Germany, Australia and others mounting pressure on the IOC and wanting them to postpone and defer the Olympics by a year, following the model of the Euro Championships that have already been deferred by a year to be happening in 2021 now. Perhaps there wasn't much of a choice for the country, the host country, and also the IOC. Let's remember the two bodies, the host country's Olympic Association and the IOC enter into an agreement to hold the Olympic Games. So they are the bodies that are going to decide whether the Games can take place or not take place. There were 4 months to go. There was some opinion that this decision should not be rushed, because Olympics is not just about the fact that you're hosting that event. Given the economic climate around the world, was it necessary? People were asking, is it necessary to cancel stuff you don't have to cancel? But I think their hand has been forced because participating countries are not very willing to send their athletes. Currently, the issue not so much was whether in 4 months' time the situation around the world is going to be conducive to hosting a multi-nation event like the Olympics. The issue was, what do athletes do right now? The Olympics is a huge occasion for several athletes who practice for 4 years just to perform their best at this stage. and they've been left in disarray. You know, the Olympic qualifiers are in disarray. The practicing meets are not happening. So the athletes were not very comfortable with, going out in this uncertain climate and being asked to play at the Olympics. There are some others who wanted to. As I mentioned, it's a huge occasion for athletes. But I think right now, given the global situation, Japan has been forced to take that call. Shinzo Abe, none other than him, is coming out and making that announcement, which just goes on to show the kind of pressure there was on the country to make such an announcement. They gave themselves 4 weeks' time just yesterday. But I think since then, every 24 hours, the situation is very, very serious. And with more and more participating countries declining, refusing to want to participate in the games as they were scheduled, I think the decision was made for them.
Yes, and a lot of factors detrimental before they have actually arrived at this decision. But now that they have made the announcement that the Olympics will be postponed for about a year and be held in 2021, so there is clarity on that. Shivani and Shimon, thank you for getting us all those details.